So let's talk about the thing that we can't live without. Video game controllers. Well, that is if you play video games. If you don't play video games, you could probably totally live without them. But I love them. I love checking out video game controllers. I love trying new controllers. I love going online sometimes and just looking up controllers that I've never heard of just to see if they're any good. Today, I have 3 of what I would consider my favorite video game controllers for different reasons. Now, a lot of companies do send me video game controllers, and I don't have time to make videos on all of them, but today I'm gonna unbox one that I think might have the potential to take the crown from these fantastic controllers right here. Let's go over them real quick. We got the Xbox Elite. This is the version 2. The reason I love this controller so much is it feels damn good in the hands. It just feels like it's well built. It's got that tactile nature to it. It's got the removable D-pad. It's got the back buttons that nobody uses. Maybe you use them. I don't use them because they just don't feel ergonomically correct. It's nice. It's a really nice controller. It's a really expensive controller. But it's missing one feature that I use quite a bit depending on what game I'm playing. Now recently, I've actually put down the Xbox Elite controller in lieu of the PDP BFG. PDP sent me this controller not too long ago, and I actually sort of fell in love with it because of its modular nature. Now, we're not here to talk about these controllers. If you want to know all about it, you should check out that video from before. But good controller also. A lot of the same features like the back buttons. Again, not super ergonomic, so I don't use them. But the controller I probably use the most is the least expensive controller, and that would be the DualSense. And that's not because I like its layout. Truth be told, I actually like the layout of an Xbox controller more than a PlayStation controller. And that's because of the thumbsticks. But the DualSense has something that my old man hands really likes. You know what that is? It's gyroscope. Yeah. I actually utilize gyroscope aiming in a lot of the first-person shooters. So when I'm playing stuff on stream like Fortnite, I actually do utilize gyroscope aiming. I don't have it turn on until I'm aiming down sights, but it helps a lot. None of these other controllers have that. In fact, almost none of the controllers on the market have what this has. And this is the cheapest one. Now you can tell by holding it in your hands that it's kind of built the cheapest. But there is something all of these controllers are missing, and it's something this controller that I just had sent to me has. So, without further ado, let's talk about the Wolverine version 3 by RAZER, my friends over at RAZER. This is the Pro version. They also have a tournament version. We'll talk about the differences between the Pro and the tournament, which isn't a whole lot, but we'll touch on it. The other thing that we should probably get out of the way right off the bat is the version 3 is only available for the Xbox and PC. The V2, they did make a PlayStation version, but that's not out yet. I'm not sure if that's something that they're planning on doing with the V3, but just so far from everything I've seen, I don't know why they wouldn't make a PlayStation version of it. And full disclosure, RAZER did send this to me. I've actually recently joined their affiliate program. So if at the end of the video, I do determine that I like this controller and I might start using it, I'll drop my affiliate link in the description below. If I don't like this controller, you're probably never gonna see this video, because I'm not a real big fan of like posting videos where I trash products. It's just not my style. Maybe it's for you, but it's not for me. So let's go ahead and open this thing up. This is the Wolverine version 3, the Pro edition. Like I've said, we're gonna go ahead and put these controllers aside and, I don't know, maybe use them for reference if we need to. But One of the things that I really like to talk about right off the bat when I'm opening stuff and unboxing stuff, I do like to give things a smell. I have a little thing called the TST, that's the Tofer sniff test. And that is just how Christmassy it smells. Sometimes it doesn't remind you of Christmas, you know, a new box smell. Sometimes it reminds you of another holiday, Easter or something. This one definitely has a nice smell though. One last huff. I'm gonna go ahead and say that this is easily an 8.5 on the TST, out of 10, out of 11. So smells good, and presentation, that's what I was getting at. Presentation is definitely something I like looking at. You can sort of tell a lot about a product by its presentation. And so far, so good. But I mean, if you buy RAZER products or you like RAZER products, you know that they make a quality product anyways. So let's take a look at what's inside. A nice foam backing. Again, presentation. And we got a case. What else do we have in here? We're gonna pull everything out of here. We got our manual, and I'm not sure what's in here, but there's nothing else in here. So that's empty. We're gonna put this to the side for now. We got a case. If you, if you've bought any of these other Elite status controllers like the BFG or the Elite itself, then you know they also come with cases. One of the reasons why I liked the PDP is because it did come with a really nice case. I like these things. The Elite also comes with a nice case. This is a nice case as well. And I'm just gonna say, just based off of memory here, I'm thinking this one smells better than the other ones too. They all smell good, but you know, some just smell better. Although it looks like it's some kind of neoprene, which I don't know, I'm leaning more towards this. Nice build. All right. We got, nice touch, little stick protectors here. Not gonna need those. And interesting, this looks like a smaller controller. But, ooh, that's different. That is I was just talking about the back buttons, the back paddles, you can call them, on these other controllers, and how I don't use them. This is the first time I've ever held a controller where it feels ergonomic. Like, I actually might use these. Like, okay, I don't know. Let's try and do this side by side here. I'm gonna hold this controller as if I were playing, right? And then I'm gonna hold this controller as if I was playing. I don't know, I'm not really sure what it is about this one. It's deeper. This RAZER is a deeper controller. So this hook here is more drastic than this hook here. You can see that right there. I mean, it definitely feels like more of a horn. That is way better than this. So I actually might utilize these. And 3 shoulder buttons? That's interesting. 1, 2, and 3. Trying to think of what you would need a 3rd shoulder button for. I mean, I guess whatever you would want, right? You can program it to, like, you can have this be your grenade. That's interesting. I can feel the tactile. First off, overall feel. It feels great in the hands. As far as shape goes, I actually think I'm not gonna say I think. I like this shape much more than any of the other controllers that I've held, especially the DualSense. I love the motion control of the DualSense, but I'm not a big fan of how a PlayStation controller feels in the hand. I've always been more of an Xbox sort of guy. So this thing, its shape is nice. I really like how it feels in the hand. The one thing I can't say that I love is I don't love that it's just straight smooth plastic all the way around. Now you go to something like the Elite, this thing, like I said, the tactile nature of this thing, it's unstoppable. Nothing feels like an Elite controller. Even the PDP has a mix of like this grippy rubber material and smooth plastic. Nothing quite feels, I don't know what they do with this. They dip it in like that grip it shit, you know. This does not have that. Actually, now that I pick it up again, you know, this kind of reminds me of that Steam controller. Do you remember the Steam controller with the weird like trackpad things? This is that's sort of what it feels like, sort of what it looks like. I personally would prefer, you see how the controller has this kind of design here, this outline? If all of this area here that your hands are gripped to, I'd prefer that to be more of this material, if I'm being honest. But that's not a deal breaker. I did order some skins for this thing to give it a little more of a pop, you know? One thing I love about, you know, the DualSense and even some of the Elites is that there's all kinds of crazy, you know, really cool colors and designs that you can get with this. I will say you can get this in a white controller as well as the black. So let's break it down real quick. Let's go down the specs. I have the specs sitting right here. Connectivity. We have hyperspeed wireless via included dongle, which is this dongle here. If you're familiar with PC controllers, this is pretty typical. My streaming setup is sitting right next to me, so I never use these. I actually always go wired, which, short like little side note, maybe that means that the Pro isn't the one I want. Maybe I want the tournament edition, because the tournament edition is wired. Because, you know, zero latency. Even though this is hyperspeed wireless, that doesn't mean that there's not latency still. There's still gonna be that. It also does have a wired connection via USB-C, which, let's break this open real quick. I'm assuming that's what this is. If I can get it open. I ripped it. Whatever. Yeah. Is there anything in there? No. Just one of those things you're not supposed to eat, right? So nice braided USB-C cable. I like that. It's A to C. That's fine. I'm at like 50-50 on my computer, so that doesn't really bother me at all. But I will be using this controller wired. I won't be using this wireless. So that's that. That is a 10-foot USB-C to A cable. I guess I could have read that right there. System requirements: Xbox and PC, Windows 11. Internet connection for RAZER controller app. Let's talk about that real quick. So you can take your phone and download the RAZER app, and then you can sync this beautiful controller to it. And that's how you can, like, you know, go in and change all of your settings. You know, you can go ahead and select what these weird third shoulder buttons are for, or what you want to use these back buttons for. I would imagine you can probably adjust the dead zones on the thumbsticks. You know, I'm noticing here it also says it has the RAZER Chroma Lighting. We should probably plug this thing in and see exactly what they're talking about, because it says it has lighting on it. So I'm curious now. Let's check it out, shall we? You may not be able to see with all these crazy lights around me. Okay, so I'm assuming it's probably just the RAZER logo there. I don't see any other lights. But that is neat. I'm assuming via the app you can change what color the RAZER logo lights up, or maybe have it doing like that, you know, RGB pulsating. I don't know. To be totally honest with you, the marketing, oh, it does change colors. The whole marketing thing that a lot of the modern PC manufacturers use with the whole chroma lighting and all, like, everything looks like it's from the future. I don't know, not really for me. If you've noticed, I'm a bit of an old school guy myself, but it does have that if you like that sort of thing. So that is RAZER Chroma Lighting. Mechanical action buttons. RAZER Mecha Tactile Action Buttons. That was the other thing that I was gonna say is pretty different about this the second I started playing with it is the buttons feel different. I mean, they feel very different. I don't know if you can notice the... You see that? Let me see. That's the RAZER. That's the Xbox Elite. This definitely has some kind of click to it, a very satisfying click, I might say. That might make a difference for me when I'm playing. These are very soft buttons, but this is a very expensive controller, so that's interesting. I'll have to look more into that. RAZER Mecha Tactile Action Buttons. It's the first time I think I've ever really felt a controller button like that. It almost feels like an arcade switch. That's interesting. Multi-function buttons, 4 mouse click back buttons. They call these mouse click back buttons, but let's take a good look at those. I would say out of all of the back buttons I've ever used or ever felt on any controller, these are by far the most ergonomic. I might actually assign these to do something in a game. For the first time ever. I think I maybe assigned some of these at one point, but never ended up using it because it just, you know. And then it says it has 2 claw grip bumpers. I get it, claw grip, right? For like when you're playing Call of Duty and you got to get them eagle claws out. You can assign those to whatever you want. Those are actually very clicky, like the buttons too. It's interesting, I like that. Quick control panel, none. Interchangeable D-pad, none. That's something to note. If D-pads are your thing, like if you're really like a D-pad connoisseur, you like fighting games and you use the D-pad, I don't know how much you would like that one. I don't pay attention to the D-pads because the only time I ever use them is if I have to. I'm not a fighting game guy. So, you know, like on the Xbox, you can change the D-pad out. That's something to note. Same thing with the Victrix PDP. And then this is modular on this thing. Not so much on this. We're gonna get there, but I think I see what RAZER's going for with this thing. And I'm liking it. So we'll talk, hang in tight. Interchangeable thumbsticks. Anti-drift Hall effect analog thumbsticks. Oh my God, that's the deal breaker right there. The thumbsticks here are Hall effect sticks, okay? Not Hall effect sticks. Not Hall effect sticks. This is a weird thing that I don't understand on console manufacturers never ever use an analog stick with one exception. I believe there was only one. That would be the Sega Dreamcast. Sega got it right. They used analog Hall effect sticks and not your traditional shite sticks that end up getting drift. So if you ever hear drift, or what it's more commonly been referred to these days as Joy-Con drift, that's because they're not using Hall effect sticks. And if you don't know what Hall effect sticks are, I'm not gonna explain it to you here. You should watch this video here because this guy explains it pretty well. They don't cost that much more. We're talking like cents more, but you know, when you're manufacturing millions of consoles, maybe, you know, or maybe they just want you to buy multiple controllers. I don't know. The other thing that this does is, look at that. That's satisfying. I like that there's a ball bearing there, actually. I like that better than the other ones so far. But you can pull off the analog stick, and it does give you a couple other options. So let's take a look at what they give you here. They give you the tall stick, in case you're, you know, old like me and your thumbs aren't what they used to be. You can pull this one off, and you can pop this longer one on. And I'm a fan of concaved, not convexed. So there a specific way that these go on? So there you go. See that? You got one higher than the other. That gives you a little advantage, you know, a little more throw. Jesus. That gives you a little more throw. Sorry, I had pizza. You know, in case your aiming is not so good like mine. But that's one of the reasons why I use the DualSense, is because my aiming isn't so good anymore. At 45, it's gone downhill. And I like to use gyroscope aiming. But this does not have gyroscope. That's something we'll talk about. Let's see, microphone input. Oh, we almost missed trigger stops. It does have trigger stops. So if you're familiar with how the trigger stops work on an Elite, same sort of thing here. This is a very, hear this? It's a very clicky trigger right now. I would imagine if you, yeah. So you can pull the stops out and then it's just your standard trigger, like a regular trigger. Actually, I think I quite like that more. Seems like it'd be faster. Or actually maybe like aim down sights, you would want like to pull in and then bah, 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 bah. If you're doing a shooter, I like that. Audio output, microphone input, yes, it has those. Does anybody use that anymore? I don't know. Headsets have their own sort of thing going on. Battery life, this is important. Seems like it's pretty much on par with just about everything else at 20 hours. Configuration app we already talked about. It has that. Artwork customization, it says none, but they actually make skins for this thing. And you can, it just covers the part inside here. And I actually quite like how the skins look on this. So I will be buying a skin for this. Or maybe I can talk them into sending me one. Carrying case, we already showed you the carrying case. I'm gonna go ahead and put the thumbsticks back in it. Approximate weight. This thing weighs 304 grams. So I will say it's lighter than like an Elite, which part of the reason why I like the Elite is because of how heavy it is. But it is heavier than something like a BFG, and it's definitely heavier than something like the DualSense. I don't have, what is Sony's fancy controller called? Oh shoot. Hit me in the comments, let me know. But I don't have one of those because, again, I'm actually not a fan of the thumbstick layout on a DualShock. So the only reason I like this is, again, gyroscope. So there's no reason for me to buy the fancier one. Looks like that's really all of the specs that they list out. Let's talk about price real quick. In comparison to the rest of this stuff, it's about the same. This thing starts at $199.99 for the Pro version. Now again, they do have a tournament edition, which doesn't have a wireless module in it. That makes it cheaper. People go, why would you want wired? But if you're like tournament level play, you want a wired controller. And for some people like me, I'm gonna use it wired, but they sent me the wireless one, so beggars can't be choosers. But 200 bucks for this thing, and I think the tournament edition might be, I don't know, $30 or $40 less. I probably should look that up. And they're available in white and black. The white one looks pretty nice. I will say this controller does look nice. It's a very nice, clean looking controller. And in comparison to price, I haven't priced an Elite in a while. I don't know if they've gone up. They probably have since the price of the Xbox went up. So this is probably going to be cheaper than an Elite. Let me just look it up real quick just so I can, let's see, Xbox Elite Series 2. Well, they're saying $199 still. Is that right? Yeah, $199. So they're the same price. $200, and when you're comparing that against the BFG, the Victrix, I think the Victrix is $179, so it's a little bit cheaper. You know, with this light, you could barely see the Victrix, but that's not why this video, we're not doing that for that controller. You can watch that video another time if you want, if you haven't already watched it. So yeah, there you go. There's the RAZER Wolverine V3. This thing, so what I was gonna say earlier in the video, this is definitely made for the tournament player. If you're familiar with RAZER's products. This is no secret. RAZER loves their pro level players, and this right here is a pro level. This is made for tournament play. This thing is made for people who play like that. It's not, you know, like this is what you play Skyrim on, and this is what you play Fortnite when you're competing in FNCS or whatever, Call of Duty. Pro level controller player. I say controller player because like the real pros probably playing a keyboard and mouse, I would guess. But that's what this is for, and it definitely screams that. When I feel these buttons, boy, does that feel like these were designed to just murk fools. As where the buttons on the Elite are pretty soft, and even the buttons on the Victrix are pretty soft. And you go back to something like this is under $100 controller here, definitely a lot softer. So these were designed for that. And even the D-pad's really clicky. Again, probably not the thing you want to play fighting games with, but everything else feels really nice and it looks really nice. So I'm gonna be trying this out. I think if I can get past the whole no gyroscope thing, this might be the controller for me. I really like how I like how it looks. I really like how it feels. Again, I don't think I have, as far as feel goes, this right here is a 9.5 out of 10. As where this was like this was a solid 8.5, almost a 9. This was definitely about an 8, and this I use because it's gyroscope. I think this thing feels more like a 7, if I'm being honest. You're gonna get me in the comments, you PlayStation people, but I don't dislike PlayStation. I'm just not a huge fan of the layout, like a boomerang or something, you know? This feels good. And again, every time I look down at it, it actually sort of reminds me of that Steam controller. It looks a lot like it. When you first see it, when you first open this, it looks small. But when you hold it in your hands, it feels just right. So I'll be using this for the foreseeable future on the live stream, as long as I just aren't total dog water with it without gyroscope aiming. Hey, RAZER, psst. Can we do one with a gyroscope in it? Like maybe the PlayStation one's gonna have gyroscope, but then it's gonna have the sticks are gonna be all in line. We'll see. Let's see how I like it. But I like it enough that I would, if you're in the market for a new controller, I would say check this thing out. And if you want to do so, I will put my affiliate link in the description below. I did say earlier, I am an affiliate of RAZER now. RAZER did send this to me. I love RAZER's products. My gaming laptop is a RAZER blade because it's fantastic. I love it. If you're gonna buy any of RAZER's products, you should consider, and you watch my videos, you should consider using my link because it does help me out. It does support me. That would be awesome. If you're gonna do that sort of thing, don't go out of your way to buy it just to support. But if you're gonna buy it and you like my videos, maybe, you know. I like it so far. I'm gonna say this is what I'm gonna use on the live streams for the foreseeable future, and I'll let you know how it goes. Another new controller to the collection. That was the RAZER Wolverine V3. This is the Pro version. Again, there's a couple different versions of this, but there you have it. So if you want to check it out, the link is below. Thank you, RAZER, for sending this over to me. And don't forget, if you like videos like this, I will be doing plenty of them in the future. And I've done plenty of them already. And if you don't want to miss any more, make sure you follow along to the channel right here. Hit that little bell icon to be notified, or join the Discord. Discord will always tell you when I have a new video up. And until next time, enjoy the journey.